All right. So reading and writing fill in the blanks, you will also get in your reading section. Okay. Now, if I actually talk about its weightage, as in how many marks it gives you towards your reading, that would be 22%. It's quite important. Okay. Now, what is the nature of this topic? As it says, reading and writing fill in the blanks. So also an FIB task. Okay. But what you have now is you get a list of words for each blank. Okay. Before that, there were words available below. We dragged and dropped them. But now we have a list of words for each blank. And then I will choose the appropriate answer for each blank in here. All right. So some of the points in here, these two I already told you. You have a list of 4 words. And by the way, do remember, that's why we can also call it as fill in the blanks drop down. Okay. Now we can have a bit more questions in here. Like we can have 5 or we can have 6 questions. And one question has 4 or 5 blanks. And one blank is going to give you 1 mark towards your reading and 1 mark toward your writing. Okay. And when we talk about the time, now you can give actually a little bit more time in here. You can go up to 4 minutes. Okay. Not more than that. Yes, per question. Okay. But try to keep it between 2 and 4. Like the questions that are a bit easy, making sure you get done with them within 2.5 minutes time. Okay. Because as I explained earlier, time is self-managed in reading section. That's very important. Remember that. Okay. All right. So now if we talk about the weightage of skills, grammar would be least important, but it will help you in some questions. It would be then more of meaning now, and majorly it would be on collocations. Okay. So now it's 12:25. We will do just a couple of collocation exercises and then we will do some reading and writing FIB questions. Okay. But before that, anything that was not clear regarding the basics of the topic, you can ask. Any questions, guys? Yes, the entire reading section. So in here, you will have an overall time and you have to manage, you have to set aside time for each question. Okay. All right. Now let's actually have a look at some collocation exercises first, and then we will move on to doing some reading and writing FIB questions. All right, have a look over here, guys. Okay. We don't have to do all of them. Let's try to do these two that I highlighted. Noun plus noun and the second one. Verbs and expressions with prepositions. Okay. Let's do these ones first. Go through these 3 questions and then we'll have a look at it. Yes, lies about. All right, so let's have a look at these. The first one says, as Sam read the lies about him, he felt a dash of dash. No, it's actually surge of anger. Surge. Yes, okay. Because these are like noun plus noun idioms. So it is surge of anger. And just like, we discussed one earlier, like cup of tea. So in the same way in here, they are your idioms actually. It's surge of anger. Okay, next one. It says every parent feels a dash of dash when their child does well or wins something.
Sense of pride.
Good. Okay. This will be now sense of pride. Okay. Now, next one. I felt a dash of dash when I saw the old photos of the village where I grew up. Mhm. Okay, I felt a dash of dash old photos of the village. It's actually pang of nostalgia. Pangs, like literal meaning is pain, you can say. Okay, having a like a sudden pain or something. But since it's an idiom, so it's not in the literal sense. Pang of nostalgia basically means like when you think about something that happened in the past, like maybe your school, your college days, like the time you had with the friends, and you get a little bit sad. That is what nostalgia means. Okay. All right. Now next one, verbs and expressions with prepositions. This says that as Jack went on stage to receive his gold medal, you could see his parents dash with dash. What do you guys think?
Burst of pride.
No, it's actually swelling with pride.
No.
Yes. Okay, remember that. It is swelling with pride. Okay. Now the next one, it says I was dash with dash when I read the newspaper report of the explosion. No, no, it will be filled with horror. Okay, filled with horror when I saw the newspaper report of the explosion. All right, last one in here. This should be easy. When she spilled juice on her new skirt, the little girl dashed into dash. Yes. Okay, good. The little girl burst into tears. Okay, so remember it was swelling with pride, filled with horror, and then the last one was burst into tears. These are your collocations. And in here it was surge of anger, feels a sense of pride, and pang of nostalgia. Okay. All right. Now let's do some reading and writing FIB questions because it's 12:32 already. We have to do some reading and writing FIB questions as well. All right. Let me highlight the hints for you guys. Okay, guys, go through this one. I'm giving you guys 2 minutes and then we will have a look at it together. Okay, guys, let's have a look at it. The first blank. Some form of goals needs to be in place, dash their performance. This one, see, this is motive, not motivate. Okay, think about it. Goals needs to be in place to motive, not motivate, to motive and lead the performance. Would it be appropriate? No. Okay, it's actually this one. Goals as motive, okay, and guide their performance. That's appropriate. Okay. All right, next one. Service personnel are assigned a number of service calls they dash during a set time period. Okay, it can be have to do, it can be must perform. Okay, now in that sort of a situation, you have to go with, like, you can say more appropriate or more academic one. Good. Okay, remember this. Now the next one, the success of the business dash the successful sales of its products and services. What do you think? Hinges on. Okay, because the thing is, herein the rule, if you guys remember, subject verb agreement, the subject is just success. Okay, which is of course singular, it's not in plural sense. I will go with the plural verb, which is only one in here, hinges on. Okay, now the last one, planning, financial, production, marketing efforts that go into dash the sales force cells. Anyone? Hmm. Good. Okay. This is producing what the sales force sells. Okay. Because you're talking about planning, financial, production, and marketing efforts. Okay. So, in this sort of scenario, because of the words that were written, we went ahead with producing what? But let's just say if it was strictly saying about like a product, a service, then we might have gone with creating. Okay, and produce which and presenting for, they would be grammatically incorrect in this situation. Okay, now moving on to the next one. Yeah, let's do this one in here. This is quite an easy one. This you guys should get right. Go through this one and then we'll have a look at it. All right, let's have a look over here. What does this says? Reading is an active process, not a dash one. Good. Then it says we always read within a dash context and also read the line afterwards. This affects what we notice and what seems to matter. Good. Okay. It is specific context because it is saying this affects what we notice and what seems to matter. Okay. If we had gone with, let's just say, vague. Okay, vague is something that's not like defined, that's not specific, and ambiguous is like you can say something that has no clear cut boundary, you can say. Okay, now next one is we always have a purpose in reading a text, and this will shape how we dash it. Anyone? Yes. Okay, this will shape how we approach it. Okay, now the next one in here, our purpose and background knowledge will also dash the strategies. Think about it. This effect is actually noun, not a verb. It will be determined. Okay, remember that if like uh, if let's just say it was approach, then we might have gone with establish. Okay, and the effect with e, that is a noun, whereas an effect with an a, that's a verb. Okay, all right, now let's do this question. All right, guys. Now, what does it say? Design of the spacecraft's dash and help with developing the landing system. Think about it. Spacecrafts, rockets. What do you think? Might be one of the words in here. You might have read somewhere with spacecrafts. It's actually trajectory. Okay. Trajectory means a path followed by spacecrafts. Okay. When spacecrafts are launched from Earth's surface, they never launch like you can say straight up. Okay. After a while, they follow a bit of a curved path. Okay. That curved path is known as trajectory. All right. Now, the next one, it says Space Access Resupply dash with NASA. SpaceX and NASA, they are two there are two space companies in here. It says Access Resupply dash with NASA. What's an appropriate word? No, convention, like you can say in here, would mean an understanding, or in some cases, it would mean a rule. Okay, treaty is an agreement between states or between countries. Yes. Okay. When it is between, like, let's just say two companies, that would be contract then. Okay. Now, the next one says that SpaceX has developed and tested motors that allow the craft to make a safe dash on Earth in the event of an emergency. Good. It will be landing. Now, blank D says SpaceX would dash that system to allow the craft to touch down on Mars. Yes, it is adapt. What does adapt means? Adapt means modify, make appropriate changes to something. Okay. Now the last blank in here, interplanetary missions require spacecraft to be dashed from Earth's surface. Good. Okay. Remember, whenever it talks about spacecrafts, rockets, it will always be launched. But if it specifically talks about, let's just say, flights, aircrafts, then you can say departed, departure, arrival, and those words. Okay. All right, guys. So that is pretty much it for today. Now, both the topics that we discussed, they are very important, gives you a lot of marks. So your practice here is super important. Now, how many questions to do? I will say if this was the first time you actually took this class, start off by doing at least 5 to 10 reading FIB, like 5 to 10 daily. And for reading and writing FIB, that is a bit more important. So I will say at least 10 to 15 daily. Okay. Now this is at least that you have to do. But slowly when you guys will understand how questions work and all, so then I want you to do 20 to 25, and reading and writing FIB, I want you to do 25 to 30 daily. Okay, this is I will say after 2-3 weeks, or 3-4 weeks, depending on how long it takes you to get in the flow. And where you should practice it, firstly have a look at iOS portal. It has a lot of questions. Okay, firstly get done with those, and then after you have finished it and you want to practice more questions, then you can do from 𝐴𝐵. Okay, but guys, in here practice is very important, so please make sure that you give these tasks time. And also these days reading has been quite difficult. Okay, so do make sure you get as much practice as possible for your reading tasks. Okay, particularly for these two. Okay guys, now we are at the end of the session. If there are any questions, any confusions from you guys, please ask.